Whoa, the news at noon starts right now.
Well, first at noon, a pipe bomb found outside an apartment complex around I-10 near Huebner Road on the northwest side.
San Antonio police said a maintenance worker found the device outside in the grass and took it to the office. That's when they called police, who brought in the bomb squad.
Bomb squad made the scene. They determined the device to be a live device. They decided to make the device safe enough to transport, and it was transported away from the location.
Well, police say the pipe was leaking some kind of black powder. Out of precaution, part of I-10 was shut down and residents in a 300-foot radius were evacuated while the bomb squad removed the device.
It will be destroyed by the bomb squad somewhere safe. Police remind you that if you find a suspicious device, do not touch it and call 911 immediately. Well, drivers on the far west side should see better traffic flow.
And that's because a new westbound to eastbound turnaround bridge is now open.
This is the area we're talking about, US 90 and Highway 211. It's part of a larger effort to make improvements at this intersection.
And RJ Marcus takes a look at this $6 million project and how it could help ease traffic headaches.
That's right. Well, we all know that traffic on 90, if you live out here on the far west side, can definitely be a major headache during our morning rush hour and evening rush hour times, but we are getting some relief out here. I want to step out of the shot real quick and have our photojournalist Alex Gomez zoom into the brand new turnaround that officially opened yesterday afternoon at Highway 90 and 211. This is past Loop 1604 in the Medina Valley area. The turnaround is going to take our drivers west to east on 90 and make it easier overall to connect at that 211 and 90 intersection. So why is it so important to kind of navigate through this one area? Well, Highway 211, that's the main road to get north to Potranco. That is an area that continues to grow in far west Bexar County. And again, traffic backing up for miles for many of our drivers. And we also talked to some of our drivers. Let's hear of what some of them had to say about this new turnaround and all the traffic that we see on Highway 90.
It might alleviate something, but there's so many wrecks on here every other day. It's going to keep happening. It's just, like I said, the more you go to Castroville and they're building more strip malls and everything, it's just going to get worse.
We're pretty excited for it because not only is there traffic going back towards 1604, but coming out towards Castroville, for whatever reason, traffic just finds itself here in this area. So hopefully that 211 turnaround will help a lot because we do use that to kind of get around the traffic back home.
When I first moved in, it was just stop signs and we had all kinds of accidents there. They put in stoplights now, and they just yesterday at 2 o'clock opened up the turnaround bridge, and I'm going to go try that after this.
Now, this turnaround is a big part of improving traffic and safety, especially traffic flow for all of our drivers that are headed down to Medina Valley High School as that district continues to grow. Construction started last summer in 2024 and actually wrapped up earlier than what was expected. This was supposed to last for another couple months out here at this brand new turnaround. So some good news for our drivers on the far west side of town. RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, RJ. And this isn't the only area that's seeing progress when it comes to construction. So just a couple of weeks ago, a fourth flyover ramp opened on the northwest side. This is at Loop 1604 and I-10. So stay up to date on the construction projects in the San Antonio area by going to our website at ksat.com.
And heading outside with live cam, we're just enjoying that lower humidity, but it looks like we're going to have similar weather throughout the week.
Absolutely. I mean, yesterday we had clouds that helped us stay in the 80s, but today hardly a cloud in sight around San Antonio and around a good portion of Texas as well. Take a look at your screen. This is a satellite picture from space. You can see those clouds in East Texas. That's what we had overhead yesterday. Those are quickly racing toward Louisiana and Arkansas, and we're left with total sunshine here in San Antonio. All right. Outside, it is pleasantly dry. Relative humidity is at 33%. Now, that being said, there is a slight fire danger today, so please use caution. Make sure to extinguish your cigarettes completely and try to avoid burning if you can. For the rest of the day, we'll be warming up to 93 for the high. That's well above average by some 5 degrees or so. Totally sunny skies and quickly cooling tonight, with temperatures once again starting pleasantly cool tomorrow morning. I'll have those details for you in just a bit.
All right, thanks so much, Sarah. Now to an update on the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino. It remains closed today still in Eagle Pass.
Well, this comes after a deadly shooting over the weekend. So in a statement, the hotel and casino says it, quote, "We are heartbroken by the tragic events that occurred at Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino this weekend. Our deepest condolences go out to the victims, their families, and all those affected."
They said out of respect for those impacted and to allow authorities to continue their investigation, the casino will remain temporarily closed, end quote. And meanwhile, the suspect in the case is now facing 2 counts of capital murder and 5 counts of aggravated assault. His bond is set at $4.5 million. One of the victims, retired Customs and Border Protection agent Mark Antley, died outside the casino as he and his wife were leaving. She was also shot, but she survived.
About 12 stitches, and then the one where the bullet went in. It went in through here, came out over here.
So we don't know if this was a targeted incident or if this was just him upset because a bad gambling night. We don't have any motive or any indication of a motive.
Nothing like that. I'm pretty sure that the officers from the Kickapoo Casino might have something because they worked there.
And we are still going to continue pushing for more details from DPS and tribal police.
Well, a 21-year-old man has died after being shot on the city's west side. Officers were called just after 9 p.m. last night to North Colorado and Ruiz. So they found a man in his early 20s shot multiple times in the neck, his body, and legs. He was rushed to the hospital. Now, witnesses told police that they saw 3 to 4 men running away on the nearby train tracks, but they didn't actually see the shooting. So no weapon was recovered, and there is still no suspect description. Police say there is no current threat to that community.
A trial is expected to start today for a local woman caught on camera hitting a puppy multiple times. She appeared before a judge yesterday. The video we know is hard to watch. Back in January, Animal Care Services confirmed Havana Miller was seen in this video hitting her 3-month-old poodle. Miller is accused of animal cruelty. During yesterday's pretrial hearing, attorneys addressing the veterinarian who examined the puppy after the incident.
The history of what was provided regarding the pet's owner and was included, and the video as well that was provided, and then the information that the pet was at the ER.
Judge Stephanie Boyd denied the motion to quash a subpoena, which means she cleared the way for that veterinarian to testify in the case.
And happening today, District 9 residents have a chance to learn more about the future of the Sports and Entertainment District at a town hall meeting. This will be an information session about Project Marvel with Councilwoman Misty Spears and City Manager Eric Walsh. This will be followed by a question and answer session that will start at 6:20 over at the Walker Ranch Senior Center.
Happening today, several city leaders and neighborhood associations are set to tour the highly contested Guajolote Ranch area in northwest Bexar County. They're expected to be given a science-based presentation on Guajolote Ranch and the proposed wastewater treatment plant there. A developer intends to build 2,900 homes in the area, which would require the creation of a wastewater treatment plant. Residents and experts argue that plant would contaminate the Helotes Creek watershed and make San Antonio's water unsafe to drink for 1.7 million people. And today, council members will be getting an on-the-ground look at the Helotes Creek and the potential impact of the proposed wastewater plant. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, has not decided yet whether to approve that wastewater permit for the Lennar Corporation. That decision could come as early as this fall. In the meantime, neighbors want Bexar County leaders to intervene as much as they can.
4 San Antonio area school districts are now at risk of a state takeover. So the Texas Education Agency says Edgewood, Northside, San Antonio ISD, and Judson all have campuses with poor state ratings. Under the rules, if a school fails for 2 years, it must submit a turnaround plan. After 3 years, that plan has to be put into action. So districts like East Central and Harlandale aren't there yet, but they do have to draft plans. So if the low ratings continue, the state could appoint a conservator to direct the local school board or superintendent, which is a decision expected later this year.
With another shutdown looming, lawmakers are racing to meet a deadline that's just hours away, where negotiations stand on Capitol Hill this noon.
And we have an update on an intersection that neighbors have been sounding the alarm about.
Changing a dangerous intersection over on the far east side of town, something neighbors have called a death trap. KSAT's Devin Karp first told you about the intersection over at 1604 and Shoeworth Drive or Road, nicknamed the Can Opener, back in June. Drivers and first responders have told us it got that name for a number of times, that people have been cut out of their cars after bad crashes. Now construction is underway after TxDOT says nearby home developers were responsible for putting in a stoplight. It's something that's important to one man who says he got T-boned there by another driver speeding through.
I'm glad we're okay, but it's just like, that could have been like horrible. And, of course I want it fixed so that, somebody doesn't end up, in like a worse case than we were in.
TxDOT data shows there have been 148 crashes at that intersection since 2016, increasing over time as more people move to the area. Devin Karp will have more coming up tonight on the news at 6.
Well, the June 12th flood washed out her fence and her retirement fund. This is the damage left behind at Karen Holmes and her mother's Live Oak home. So inches of water flowed onto their property, and Holmes says because they don't live in a floodplain and didn't have flood insurance, that means that flood insurance would not help cover the repair costs. Her mother paid Sanders Fence Company out of pocket to fix that fence.
How much money did your mom have to pull out of her 401k to pay for everything?
All of it. There's no more.
So it was about $11,000, and as Karen tells KSAT investigates Daniela Ibarra, her family is now suing the company. Family members say that failed to finish the job. Now tonight on the Night Beat, we're going to show you the work that was done and the contractor's history with the law.
All right, we are warming up. Temperatures are already close to what we reached yesterday. Yesterday our high was 87 and it's already 86, so it's going to be a warmer day today. I do have to bring some bad news. The aquifer is down a whole foot in the last 24 hours, now more than 30 feet below the monthly average. And when we look at rain chances in the coming days, no rain chances for at least the next 7 days, perhaps even the next 7 to 14 days. And in the pollen count, we've got molds are low, but ragweed is moderate. I'll have the latest on when ragweed season usually comes to an end and the next pesky pollen we got to be on the lookout for coming up.
Well, a reminder, today is the last day to celebrate first responders in San Antonio, and we want to remind you that in honor of Frontline Heroes Appreciation Month, the San Antonio Zoo is offering free admission to the brave men and women who keep our community safe. So all frontline heroes, including doctors, nurses, police officers, firefighters, and EMTs across Texas, can visit for free. Plus, up to 4 guests with them can get 50% off any day admission ticket on that same day. So all you have to do is show that proper ID. And for more details, you can plan your visit. You can head over to the San Antonio Zoo's website.
And someone in San Antonio is a lucky winner. They scored $1 million off a scratch-off ticket. The ticket was purchased at the Circle K on Walsham Road near Loop 410. This win marks the second time out of 6 that a top prize of $1 million has been claimed in this game.
All right, guys, I'm thinking I need to start playing the lottery
See,
more.
that's what they want.
But here's the deal, $1 million off of the scratch off, and then up in Fredericksburg, somebody won part of that $1.9 billion jackpot or whatever. Like, come on.
This is what they want you to think.
Yeah, it would be nice to win.
I'll be cynical, sorry.
Okay.
Obviously, none of us won. That's not us.
Yeah.
We didn't go to that Circle K.
I'll be honest, I didn't win it.
Maybe I did. No, I didn't.
You'd be sick today.
There would be signs.
Yeah,
there would be signs.
All right, let's go ahead, though, and talk about the atmosphere, because we do have ragweed in moderate levels locally around San Antonio, and molds are low at 240. A lot of people move to San Antonio and South Central Texas because we have fairly mild winters. The problem with that is we do have pretty much year-round allergy issues. And so as we look at the allergen calendar for San Antonio, here we are in the middle of ragweed season. Ragweed is moderate. A lot of people have been asking me, Sarah, is there something in the air? It's ragweed. And ragweed season comes to an end by the end of October. So we do have to deal with it for about another month or so. The thing is, early December is when we start one of the most dreaded pollen seasons of the year, and that is mountain cedar season. And then we follow up mountain cedar with oak season right after Valentine's Day. So we do end up having quite a bit of allergies here in San Antonio. We always provide you with the pollen count every single day here on KSAT online and on air. Now, outside right now, it does feel very pleasant out there. We've got dry air moving in from the west. You can kind of see that here in this orange color. A lot of dry air moving in from the Pacific there. This low pressure system that's producing some clouds. This is why we had cloudiness. That is moving off to the east, and it's being replaced with that dry air. And so as we look at the rest of the day, we're going to have totally sunny skies. I mean, it's going to be hard for us to find a cloud in the sky with a high of 93. That is well above average for this year, for this time of year, as we are ending September today. And then tonight we'll be looking at clear skies and temperatures in the 70s, so quick cool down. By tomorrow morning, once again, starting off pretty pleasant. Take a look at morning lows. It'll be 62 in Bulverde, 64 in Helotes, 64 in Converse, 62 in Hondo, and 64 in Pleasanton, 67 here in San Antonio. Gorgeous start to the day. Every single day this week, in fact, we're going to have beautiful, cool mornings in the 60s, but the afternoons is where we're still going to feel the heat. Today, tomorrow, Thursday, we'll be at our hottest with highs in the low to mid 90s. Again, well above the average high of 87 as we officially start October tomorrow. It is going to feel very, very warm. Thankfully, humidity will be pleasantly low. We really do not even see a return of very muggy conditions over the next several days. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? So we get the nice humidity. It feels good outside. But the downside to that is that it comes with a lack of rain. And as we look at rain totals through about Sunday, October 12th, you can see most of the nation will at least have some chance for rain through the next week and a half. But here in Texas and in San Antonio, it's going to be a fairly dry stretch for us for a week and a half or so. So not great news there. But we do have two hurricanes in the Atlantic right now. This is pretty rare for us to see two hurricanes within a short distance of each other. Hurricane Humberto is going to miss Bermuda, while Hurricane Imelda, Category 1 hurricane, is likely to at least skirt Bermuda and could be an issue for the island itself, perhaps even making landfall on the small landmass of Bermuda itself by Wednesday as a Category 2 hurricane. Then it'll head back out into the Atlantic still as a tropical storm by Friday in the North Atlantic. All right, looking at your 7-day forecast again, tomorrow is the first day of October. Coming up, we'll have a look at this month. September, how does it compare to the last couple of years? September's of the last couple of years. I'll have those details in a bit.
Today is the day. The government shutdown set to happen tonight at midnight if no deal is reached. I'm Olivia Rubin with ABC News in Washington on how things are playing out in the nation's capital today.
Well, lawmakers on Capitol Hill are once again working to avoid a government shutdown.
ABC's Olivia Rubin with how they're trying to strike a deal before time runs out.
Today, the government just hours away from shutting down. President Trump this morning sounding like it's all but certain.
How many federal workers do you plan to lay off?
Well, we may do a lot.
But it's not just layoffs. What's different this time around, the White House is threatening possible mass firings if a shutdown is not averted. Just hours after a White House meeting with lawmakers yesterday, the president turning to mocking Democratic leadership with a deepfake video on social media with fabricated false claims about their demands. The video shows an AI-generated version of House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wearing a sombrero and a fake mustache with fabricated audio of Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Jeffries on the Capitol steps this morning.
Mr. President, the next time you have something to say about me, don't cop out through a racist and fake AI video. When I'm back in the Oval Office, say it to my face.
Democrats refusing to back down, saying they won't vote to fund the government unless Republicans reverse cuts to Medicaid and keep health care premiums from rising for some 20 million Americans.
The Democrats, and as you know, they wanted to be able to take care of people that have come into our country illegally. But our country can't handle people that come into our country illegally. And they want to give them full health care benefits.
This morning, Senate Republicans ramping up the pressure, planning to put a clean, House-passed bill on the floor without any of those demands from Democrats, daring them to vote against it.
I just say to my Democrat colleagues, there is no reason for a shutdown.
If the government shuts down, as many as 4 million federal employees could go without a paycheck. 2 million troops could be forced to work without pay. And despite all those workers who would go without pay, the $174,000 salary for lawmakers on Capitol Hill would continue uninterrupted. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
A new era for the U.S. military. I'm Rena Roy, and I'll break down all the major changes announced this morning.
Today, Governor Greg Abbott told the Texas Department of Public Safety to increase security at places of worship after a rise in violent attacks across the country. According to the governor's office, DPS will work with local, state, and federal law enforcement to protect churches, synagogues, and other faith groups in Texas. The security team will include Texas Highway Patrol troopers, Criminal Investigations Division agents, Texas Rangers, and Homeland Security staff to find and stop threats before they happen. As a reminder, anyone can report suspicious activity using the free iWatch Texas app. You can find it online at iwatchtexas.org as well. Law enforcement reviews those reports, which are confidential. But we do want to remind you, iWatch Texas is not for emergencies, just suspicious activity. In an emergency, call 911.
Well, starting today, the Texas Department of Public Safety is pausing the issuance of certain commercial driver licenses. This affects non-domiciled drivers and non-citizens who are refugees, asylees, or DACA recipients. So if you're in these groups, you cannot get or renew a CDL or learner permit right now. Testing is also on hold until the rules change. This comes as part of Texas's effort to keep roads safe, including new checks on drivers' English proficiency ordered by the governor. So DPS will keep everyone updated as they work through these changes.
Well, hundreds of the nation's most seasoned military commanders gathered today at a Marine Corps base, Quantico in Virginia. They were summoned last minute by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Well, in his speech, Hegseth introduced new policies that he says will make the military stronger. As ABC's Rena Roy reports, President Donald Trump also addressed the commanders.
A new era for the U.S. military.
The only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this: warfighting.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who now goes by the title Secretary of War, addressing hundreds of the nation's top military commanders in Quantico today, announcing major changes to the way things are run. Hegseth saying training will be cut down and the promotion process will be overhauled, slamming what he called, quote, the woke department.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses.
He also announced the, quote, no more walking on eggshells policy, which will restructure the Inspector General's office, which is currently investigating Hegseth's use of the messaging app Signal to communicate classified information.
No more frivolous complaints. No more smearing reputations, no more endless waiting, no more legal limbo.
He says women are welcome in the military, but that he's raising the bar to the highest level male physical standards.
Either you are disciplined, fit, and trained, or you are out.
Hegseth also saying all members must meet fitness tests and grooming standards.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops.
Hegseth telling these top military officials if they don't agree with these new policies, they don't have to stay.
But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
President Trump also speaking, doubling down on Hegseth's announcements.
We will not be politically correct when it comes to defending American freedom, and we will be a fighting and winning machine.
Hegseth also acknowledged why he recently fired some top military officials, saying it's hard to change a culture with people who benefited from the previous one. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
All right, we are seeing blue skies in San Antonio right now. Just a few puffy cumulus clouds there, very small. Otherwise, it's going to be a hot day. Hey, today is the last day of September. Hard to believe that September has come and gone. And the month started off with a high of 100 degrees on the 4th. Then we got some good rain Saturday, Sunday the 7th, and highs were only in the 70s and 80s that weekend. And then we kind of went on a trend of, every single day was very similar to the last. Take a look at the third week of September here. From the 15th through the 19th, we had a high temperature every day of 92 degrees. There was no variation. And then last week we had that cool front that took away the humidity. But we're going to be back into a weather pattern where every day is pretty similar to the last without much of a change from the day to day. Today, the biggest change is that we're seeing a lot more sun. And you can see that it's already 86 in San Antonio. Our high yesterday was 87. So we're likely going to get well above that here. 88 in New Braunfels, 82 in Del Rio, 90 in Carrizo Springs. Planning on getting your kids after school. It'll be warm, but with low humidity, 93, totally sunny out there. And then quickly cooling this evening with temperatures falling into the 70s. All right, I've got the latest on our worsening drought situation. Plus, we're going to talk about the tropics. We have 2 hurricanes in the Atlantic that are thankfully going to be staying out to sea. Details soon.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, a second detainee who was shot at an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Dallas has died. Miguel Angel Garcia Hernandez was one of the 3 detainees shot in the attack last week. A Homeland Security official says the 32-year-old died while still hospitalized after the shooting. Norland Guzman Fuentes, a 37-year-old El Salvadoran national, died the day of the attack. A 3rd victim remains hospitalized.
A federal judge has dismissed the wrongful death lawsuit filed by the family of Melissa Perez, the woman shot and killed by San Antonio police while experiencing a mental health crisis. This ruling comes just over a week before the 3 officers named in the case are scheduled to go to trial. Perez was inside her apartment in June 2023 when officers fired, and she later died from her injuries. Former officers Eleazar Alejandro and Alfred Flores face murder charges, while Nathaniel Villalobos is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The judge's decision follows a recommendation months ago by another federal judge to dismiss the claims.
Well, just over a month away from the November elections, and now Bexar County officials said they've come up with a solution to fix the backlog of more than 50,000 voter registration applications. Now, first, the county is working closely with the Secretary of State and its system. Second, 8 additional temporary staff have been hired to help manually input voter registration cards. Earlier this month, the system that the county used shut down, and a contract with a new third-party company wasn't going to be ready in time. In the meantime, they are using a system run by the Secretary of State's office.
In simple terms, if you apply on time and you are eligible, your application will be processed and you will be able to vote in the November election.
Well, you can scan the QR code on the screen to find out more about the upcoming elections and to find out if you are registered. The Bexar County Elections Office expects to have 75 to 80% of that backlog taken care of by the end of this week. The deadline to register to vote is next Monday, October 6th.
Well, a good disinfectant is an essential part of your cleaning toolkit, but if you don't use it the right way, it may actually create a dangerous situation. What you need to know coming up.
Well, imagine that you are a first responder, and when disaster strikes, you are the one who needs to be rescued.
That's what happened to many of the Hunt Fire Department volunteers on July 4th. Patty Santos tells us it all started for one of those volunteers.
It's well used at this point.
On July 4th, Hunt volunteer firefighter John Barone woke up to thunder and lightning.
Woke up about midnight, little after midnight. The flashes were so close together, it was just like there was a spotlight in my house. It was just incredible. And when the rain started at that intensity, it didn't stop. It just went on for hours. I called into the chief, and he was stuck on Schumacher Crossing. He couldn't move. And I said, I can't get to you. I can't get to the station. He goes, John, the devastation here is biblical.
It would be days before he and other firefighters could get to the main fire station.
The biggest frustration is we were getting reports, of people stuck on houses and stuff like that with no way to get to them. When I say there was an ocean between us, that's what I'm telling you. There was an ocean, and there was no way to get to anybody, and you couldn't launch a boat. You couldn't do anything. This was a tidal wave event, if you will.
The Hunt Fire Department, did you guys get any warning?
No. The first indication I had was when I woke up and I knew we had something going on. But until our phones went off, that was our first indication that we had some trouble here in Hunt.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
Well, Barone wants the people of Hunt to know that they are making significant improvements to make sure they are prepared.
And if you want to support the Hunt Volunteer Fire Department, there is a benefit concert happening on October 18th in Boerne, and organizers are looking for corporate sponsors. You can head over to KSAT.com and search Hunt for information.
It's just so hard to believe that, of course, we had those devastating floods in Kerr County, and now we're talking about an extended period of dry weather here and worsening drought. But that is the case here in San Antonio. As we take a look at the pollen count, ragweed is the leader of the pack. It's moderate. Molds are low. The aquifer is down a whole foot in the past 24 hours and now more than 30 feet below that monthly average. As we look ahead to rain chances, no rain chances in our forecast as we start October. We'll have to hope for change beyond the next 10 days. I do, however, have a look at tomorrow morning's lows, which will be very pleasant, and how they'll vary drastically depending on where you live. Details soon.
Last day of September, so tomorrow I'm excited about October 1st.
You are,
feel like
for those of you who don't know, Stephanie is like our resident October queen. Like
Yes.
she loves spooky season
Love the
so
Halloween
much.
season. Even if it's warm, you can still get in the spirit.
Have the decorations out.
You have a Halloween tree, if I'm correct, like a Christmas tree.
It's actually not up yet, but yes.
I'm excited for the earrings. The spooky earrings are my favorite.
Starting tomorrow.
Oh, yay. Looking forward to that. I'm sorry, it's not going to feel very fall-like out there the next couple of days. Outside right now, we are looking at blue skies, 86 in San Antonio, 87 in New Braunfels. Del Rio is at 82. It's 84 in Boerne, but here's the part of the forecast that's really nice. Dew points. Dew points are only in the 50s. That is pretty low. That's nice and comfortable. You find some shade out there, and it'll feel great this afternoon for you, even though we will see temperatures climbing to 93 in San Antonio, 94 in New Braunfels. Pleasanton, you'll be at 95, 93 in Del Rio, and 95 in Laredo. All right, the next several days are going to be very similar. We'll be waking up in the 60s with afternoons in the 90s. So those cool mornings will happen right around sunrise, which is 7:25. The warm but dry afternoons. And unfortunately, without any lower level humidity to tap into, we're not going to see any rain, and we're going to have a worsening drought situation for us. But I want to focus on the good news. Those cool mornings, we're going to take a moment and look at low temperatures tomorrow morning. You might notice there's no numbers here on the map. Let's go ahead and take a look at this a little bit more in depth. So as you head up into the hill country, that's where morning lows are going to be their coolest. Fredericksburg, Kerrville, closer to 60 degrees. Meanwhile, closer to San Antonio, notice that little orange spot right there on the map. That's the city center. City center retains heat from the day a little bit better because of all of the concrete and population. Near downtown San Antonio could be at 70 degrees, but you go up to Hollywood Park area, UTSA, just near about 66. So this is really impressive. Just a let's see, a 10-mile difference from the hill country to downtown. That's where you can have a pretty significant cool down. And outside of the city center too, closer to, let's say, Stockdale, Floresville. Not necessarily higher elevations making those areas cooler, but the fact that they're more rural is what's going to be making those areas cooler. So just a little weather 101 for you as we enjoy tomorrow morning's lows. Let's go ahead and take a look at the tropics. All right, we've got Hurricane Humberto, which is a Category 1 hurricane. It's actually weakening. And we've got Hurricane Imelda, which is actually strengthening. It is fairly rare for us to be seeing 2 hurricanes in the Atlantic and so close to the United States. But here's the thing, we are going to be seeing both of these storms track east of the United States. So right now, we're looking at wave heights of about 10 to 12 feet off of the coast of the Carolinas. That's pretty significant. Closer to the center of Humberto, we've got a wave of about 26 to 30 feet. Now, Imelda is the storm that could mostly impact a population center like Bermuda, where it could have a direct hit as a Category 2 hurricane and 27-foot high waves there as Imelda heads out into the Atlantic. Now, Imelda is the 9th named storm of the season. We're still tracking below what is average. We usually see about 14 named storms, and Atlantic hurricane season does run until the end of November, so it's feasible that we could see a few more named storms here. The next name on the list would be Jerry, and then after Jerry, Karen. Hurricane Karen. Let's hope that doesn't have any impact to anything. That's a little inside joke. There's internet memes of Karens and stuff. Poor Karens getting bad names. All right, as we take a look at the forecast, mornings in the 60s, afternoons in the 90s, low humidity, a few more clouds next week, guys.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, a lot of people are quick to reach for disinfectants when cleaning their homes, but using them incorrectly can be dangerous. The steps you can take to stay safe.
Well, obviously, it is very important to clean and disinfect your home to prevent the spread of germs.
However, some cleaning products can be hazardous to your health if they are used improperly.
CNN's Mandy Gaither has more on the dangers and how to safely disinfect your house.
Washing hands and highly touched surfaces are 2 keys to keeping viruses and other illnesses from spreading. But some of the cleaning supplies in your home can be dangerous if used the wrong way.
The nonprofit Environmental Working Group found that more than 2,000 cleaning products in the United States might contain chemicals linked to asthma, cancer, and chemical burns.
The CDC says in most situations, cleaning alone with soap and water can remove most germs on surfaces. However, if someone in your home has been sick or a person who recently visited had an illness, the agency says properly diluted bleach can effectively kill germs. But take these steps for safety. Use regular, unscented household bleach that contains between 5 to 9% sodium hypochlorite. If it's laundry or splashless bleach, it may not be appropriate for disinfection, so make sure it's in that percentage range. Never mix household bleach or any other disinfectant with other cleaners or disinfectants. This can release vapors that can be dangerous to breathe in. Make sure you have good ventilation, for example, open windows. Check the label to see if you need to wear protective equipment like gloves or eye protection, and follow directions on the bottle to prepare a diluted bleach solution. You can also check if your other cleaners are safe.
Next time you need to replace something, spend a minute looking for this, the EPA's Safer Choice label, or checking their online database.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dolly Parton is apologizing to her fans after the country music icon postponed her residency in Las Vegas. Parton says she's dealing with some health challenges and is pushing back her shows to next September.
Spider Pig, does whatever a spider pig does.
The Simpsons are returning to the big screen. 20th Century says a new feature film starring Homer and the rest of the family is set to hit theaters July 23rd, 2027. 20 years after the first Simpsons movie, the show has already been renewed for its 40th season. 20th Century is owned by Disney, the parent company of ABC News.
Jake Kelly, so handsome. Look at you, you're the American dream.
Netflix is out with the first official trailer for Jake Kelly, its new awards contender starring George Clooney as a movie star reeling from the death of his mentor. The film releases in theaters November 14th and hits Netflix on December 5th. And And happy birthday to the nanny, Fran Drescher, who up until recently was the president of the SAG-AFTRA Actors Union, is turning 68 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News.
I'm sorry, but Courtney just did an amazing Fran Drescher. A laugh.
Oh no. Okay.
That's pretty good. See? Okay,
Don't come on camera. They did me dirty back there in production.
I put you on the spot there. I'm sorry, girl.
Oh, it's good. I love me
Cool
some
mornings,
Fran.
warm afternoons, no chance for rain. Not much to laugh at there with the forecast.
I love you, Fran Drescher.
Yes. Thanks for joining us today.
Have a great day. Laugh a little like Fran.